Ladies and gentlemen, how are you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
And I'm Rangru, low, low, low.
It is a new week, which means we have more replays from the SD2 Season 2 League that's going on right about now. I could not tell you off the top of my head which group this is, but what I can tell you is right now we are looking at Orsha East. You can always tell that by the gingerbread man head that is looking at us upside down. But I guess more important than that, Rang, who is fighting and what are they bringing to the field?
Well, on the left-hand side in blue, we have Maxwell playing as the first Ski Jaeger division. And on the right-hand side, we have ourselves Finzent playing as the first Polish Rifle Infantry division. Maxwell is with a Maverick income, and Vincent with a Vanguard income.
You know, a part of me knows the reason that this replay is coming up. We got to be celebrating the Finn division coming out soon, aren't we, with the ski troops and all that?
It's gonna be next week they come out.
Yes, it is. Actually, yeah, you're right. March 1st. Actually, I think it's Sunday, is it not? No, maybe
Uh, March 3rd.
March 3rd. Thank you very much. My days are all screwed up with leap year. But in the meantime, of course, with the polls against the Ski Jaeger has been a little underperforming the last couple of matches that we've seen them in.
Yeah, they're a pretty tough division to play as. The infantry is like cool and pretty good, but SD2 really kind of favors this infantry spam in general. And compared to like, yes, they got STGs and submachine gun troops, but the what's it called? The 76th Division, 73rd, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a bit better in that regard. But you do have some cool artillery, some cool tanks, KV2s, of course. You can make them work. You just have to be a bit more micro intensive with your infantry.
And that is certainly a big ask sometimes,
Hmm.
being micro-intensive. I know that we have had people complain about, let's say, mishandling infantry in the last couple of weeks here, but it gets very overwhelming, I'm sure, as
It
you well know.
does. It does.
But anything else interesting that we can kind of talk about with the next DLC? Can you think of anything off the top of your head that just seems like it's gonna come out and just really be so freaking cool and interesting?
The Finns have some very cool, like some really cool, interesting units. Just some real oddballs, so to speak. So yeah, and the Russians as well. They're gonna have a lot of cool stuff with the mountain infantry. The Russian divisions are more like second rate rather than the top tier ones that we've seen, you know, baseline SD 44. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's gonna be fun. Like the one thing I really like so far of how they've handled the DLCs of SD2 is that none of the divisions feel like crazy overpowered. Like
Oh,
through a number of
within
fourth
reason,
armored
yeah.
and
Yeah,
desert
exactly.
rats. Like they have good niches, but they're not gonna break the game really. The only one that you could argue for is 5th SS Viking, but even then, there's other divisions that can do what they do pretty well.
That is certainly true. I mean, I think the thing that's always kind of nice about this game is that they've seemed to have gone for a lot more fidelity in terms of the division setups.
Yeah.
Like the Finns, as you mentioned, having a ton of oddball units. Well, you have to realize there were 10 divisions, and a lot of other troops were just kind of like, "Oh yeah, you know Hans down the street? Yeah, Jurgen, I have fought with him before." And I was like, "Yes, Christopherson, we've all fought together and had a shooting competition last season. These are the kind of guys that fought in the war." It just
Yeah.
absolutely boggles my mind sometimes.
Yeah.
But we are getting started right here. We actually have an early mortar from the Ski Jaeger. Definitely worthwhile. The 120 mil, though, is only a single piece, and I do not know that's going to be enough to keep all these Ogden Mochiki wannabes at bay. Certainly not with all this extra infantry coming up in close support.
Yeah, fighting against First Polish infantry is a scary, scary thing. They just have hordes of dudes. In the middle, it's already popping off an anti-tank rifle, kill an infantry unit before it can unload. We got some Sturm Ski Jaegers in there, with assault rifles, which are, of course, always very nice to have, but there's flamethrower teams and some like Stroke DP squads.
Certainly true. Now, down south, we are going to have a bit of a one-sided engagement, I would imagine. Good lord.
Yes. Also, Ski Jaegers are really bit outnumbered, and one shows Tank Tisnitsky's getting close and the Molotovs are popped. Yeah, we go.
Well, I think they're just trying to share the celebration right here, and it is 14-10 already. Maxwell kind of getting socked in the face.
Hmm.
but I have to confess, it's sort of what we expected.
Yeah, just the infantry numbers and also the income. Like Finzent's definitely going to be playing for a very aggressive A phase, and this is a good map for an infantry, like a heavily focused infantry division, because there's a lot of cover, lots of forests and towns to run around in.
Certainly true. You know, I didn't even realize that the Ski Pioneer Furos have a scoped K98.
Yeah, what's even funnier is that they have 10 shots with it,
Yes.
and there's like also a bunch of regular Kar 98s in the squad. You think someone could like, hey, here's like a clip or two of ammunition.
Well, yeah, you know, but at the same time, against the fire rate, they don't expect the sniper to be around that long. So
You get 10 shots and that's it, Hans. But I've already run out of shots. Well, we can't give you ours. You know, it's important to us. I've been attached to my ammunition.
exactly. The quartermaster will have my head. I understand that.
Exactly.
Now, we are seeing a new wave of troops and tracks coming on forward. A couple BA-10s, T-70s, more strokey CVTs. Excuse me, SVTs. Wow. And I don't know, the Ski Jaegers are desperately trying to get some more troops into combat. This T-34-85 could be decently okay, but there's still an S-57 down there.
Yeah, and also, like, you can kill tanks and whatnot with the T-30-45, but to break out southern side, you're gonna need mortars. You're gonna need a lot of artillery.
And I guess, oh no, the recon optics. I was thinking for a second, how the heck did he see him? But the Su-57 is one of those curious anti-tank guns.
Yeah.
That's absolutely baller line of sight.
Balling gun as well.
Indeedy do. Well, we are going to see right now T-34 is engaging T-34. Though I think it's 76s, isn't it, on the Polish side there? Yep.
They don't get any 85s. So the tank force is pretty mediocre, with only T-34 76s and T-70s and a few Su-85s. Well, a map like this, it's not too bad, as it's nice and close quarters.
Because I'm trying to see where this new infantry is getting dropped on off. Well, we are going to have it coming out hither and yon. Just kind of holding the town a little bit tighter.
Yep.
Kind of as you'd expect. The second mortar coming into the south. That's a good call there. Sharpshooting moving on in, but I think the sharpshooting here were just kind of being used as a, I would say area denial, but maybe just spotting for that T-34-85. Maybe start putting shots in the Su-57.
Yeah, and also if anyone dares peek ahead out of their forest, they're not going to have a fun time. Or one or two guys on as they get headshotted.
That's true. That's true. But these are 60 shots as opposed to the 10 that we had just seen before. We're seeing the K98 right now actually engaging troops in the center town. Along with MG to kind of put some fire down onto those Strelky CKMs.
Yep. And we're seeing our first airplane of the match, so strafing Dornier. And this is the nice thing about Ski Jaegers, do have a lot of good airplanes, and a lot of those DO-217s. So if he can use them to just strafe all the polar stuff, he should have a decent time. The Poles, I think they got decentish anti-air. They got some M17s being brought in now.
We do have a knee mortar being fired off here, and I said knee mortar just because the 82 mil by comparison is just a rinky-dink nothing. But engaging probably this only point of the line that Maxwell has a considerable advantage. That's these two infantry to the northern side of the central town.
Yeah, we're really starting to see one of the problems with Ski Jaegers. You just don't have a lot of infantry in terms of numbers. Yes, you got veterancy, and veterancy is okay, but just having more troops in an unvetted manner is really the way to go in ST.
But worth mentioning right now, we seem to be on the African savannah, because those are a couple of gazelles I see coming in the center part of the line.
Oh,
kind of exciting, actually.
Yeah, they're fun little tanks. I mean, well, tank destroyers, I should say. Bare minimum of a tank destroyer, but hey, it works, and the Gazelle does do a lot of work for only 20 points. It is an absolute bargain of a unit.
We do have a couple of ZSUs now, kind of gently encouraging one of those Dornier 217s to head for the rear.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be rather successful in that convincing argument of high explosive firepower.
It would certainly convince me, I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out Dornier's making gun runs on the BA-10s. I don't know that I agree with being quite so insistent going after these scout cars. I think I'd rather be going after this half tracks or even stressing at this
Especially
T-3476 in the
over the
south.
anti-air, I think he's gonna not make it back home.
Exactly.
Oh no! Oh. Never mind. Okay. Yeah, it's a rather sturdy plane, so we'll see surviving that. And you're seeing a Stuka pop in down south to drop one bomb on one support gun.
True, and he's probably going to get nicked here as a yak comes on in after him.
Oh.
It might be his final dive. Oh no, he hits the bottom of his dive. That was perfect.
Absolute clutch.
And then the half track took him out.
What? Holy... That was the 50 cal half track. What the hell? That is... Jeez. I have nothing to say about that.
That is G's. Is probably the best way to even describe it.
Mm-hmm.
Almost as much as the T-70 taking out both Gazelles. Yeah, apparently he's a bit of a poacher.
Yeah.
Because those Gazelles, not really the best idea under their circumstances here.
Mm-hmm.
And outside of that, we are limping towards the second phase, when things should hopefully get better for Maxwell. But right now, his well, he's having a hard time. Let's just put it that way.
He is. He just doesn't have the numbers to deal with all of these poses. But hopefully by B phase he'll have more infantry to actually play around with and start trying to fight back. He definitely has the tank firepower and maybe the air power, which should help out if he manages to use them efficiently.
You know, it is interesting. We are seeing Sapipsy trying to clear out those ski Jaeger Fusiliers. I'm doing decently well at it, actually. I'm surprised. Why the heck are the Pioneer squads like the be-all, end-all in these games? I will never know. Hardy folk, to be sure, though.
Yeah. Pioneers of their time.
Ironic, considering nobody wanted to be in the Pioneers just because they're such like a dirty, thankless job.
Yep.
But BA-10s and T-70s putting fire on these ski Jaeger MG-42s. And it does not matter how heavy that machine gun is, you are not piercing, 40 millimeters of armor.
Oh, no, we are not. And Dornier's coming in once again, only trying to kill those rinky-dink armored cars. But Finzent's Hyena is pretty strong. Now he's got some of those Yak rocket planes to try and help out.
Unfortunately, there is no anti-air net the other direction.
Oh, there's like one Trini mill, but it's not really much of an anti-aircraft net. It's like a net with a bunch of holes, and it's a very small net that you use to catch butterflies.
Going to say, isn't that the kind of a point of a net in the first place, to have many small holes? Or
like too many holes.
Ah, okay, so it's kind of like trying to carry water with a sieve.
Yeah, I've done that. It took me a very long time.
Oh my
to
gosh.
run very fast.
I confess I was looking down, I was waiting for these Jagdpanzer Gazelles to get knocked out here, but shockingly enough, they have survived, and we have limped into Phase B. So the question is, what will be done from Maxwell's side?
Hopefully capture some flags, because he's really down on the flags at the moment.
Yes, he is.
Not looking good for him. Only has a third of the territory on the map. So, here we go. He's bringing a lot of ski Jaegers now, which is what he needs. Probably a bit more artillery to help out as well. But yeah, this is really going to come down to a numbers game, I think.
Well, he formerly had another mortar, but that second mortar got, well, mortared pretty damn quick as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not feeling particularly confident when I see that we have 3 T-34s and 2 support vehicles between the T-70 and an SU-57. Not liking his chances here.
I'm not liking it either. Yak up north, is he going to secure the kill?
Yeah, he's got to.
Yeah.
Yep.
Took a morale, but he got it.
I think the Yak 7Bs, though, I think they have a very light armament.
Yeah.
Yes, I know it's a 20 mil, but it's not really
pretty light.
And to focus on that, too, he has a rather light fuselage. It gets pierced.
Yeah, here we go. We got Martyrs being brought in, more 20 mils. This is... Max has got to get a bit of momentum now. He really needs to try and get back on that hill. I mean, he does have a foothold on it still, because if he didn't have that foothold, it would pretty much been game over, as you can't get back on top of that place. But it's just only Sapici and infantry and just Poes in general, because Poes are very good at spam.
Mm-hmm. Rather durable chaps they are.
Yeah, they put Monty Python to shame. The amount of spam they have.
That's certainly true. It's been a long time since I've even heard that particular skit referenced, so well done there. Not seeing that extra artillery that you were talking about just yet.
Yeah. They're just bringing a bunch of Skiegers to try and push into that hillside. You know, the problem is they're pretty close together. And those T-34s are kind of scary and T-70s. Even though they're not best of tanks, in this close quarters engagement where they can just shoot anything that crest over the hill, they got first shot advantage, and even with their rinky-dink guns, doesn't matter, they're probably going to get a penetration hit.
Between all the infantry that's right there as well, even these ski Jaegers, I mean, under any other circumstances, they would acquit themselves decently well against the SVTs or just the Strokies that are in the town.
Yep.
But with the recon and everything else, there's really no point to even bringing them there without the artillery.
Yep. It's not looking good for him.
No, it is not. But, you know, we have said the points definitely do matter. This is not exactly like whose line here. But we also have an Su-76 being brought in from the backfield of the pole position as well. As I'm looking around, there's some really strange things happening. There was a pack in that force just north of the town that was able to either kill crews or force bailouts. Unfortunately, he's not going to get credit for any of those kills because he technically didn't kill them yet.
At least they're knocked out just for now. We've got Skiegers trying to flank into that northern town. And it is actually working rather well as a 50 cal half tracker, which wants to say overrise. And once they run into those tank Destiny Key squad, it's going to get pretty deadly. Yeah. And then the rocket. Oh, that's brutal. Yeah, that's brutal.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. But yeah, it's still not looking good for Max. He's still down 7-17. He really needs to make something happen, and it looks like he's doing that down south. Look at, he's got smoke onto the forest, but not much smoke, and he's running half tracks into a very deadly anti-tank gun nest. Oh boy.
Yeah, pretty bad when the PTRSs are just kind of like, oh, thank you so much for your donation to our kill count.
Yeah, that was a very risky maneuver, and it didn't pay off. It's a shame he didn't manage to get more smoke off onto that point before moving up.
Honestly, I was more focused initially on the Dornier bombing run that was happening into the central town. Unfortunately, the 50K bombs, to call them pop guns is extremely generous.
Yep, is that... I thought it was off map, but it's just an Su-76M. Very close to the town.
Yes. Yeah, I'm surprised by that. I think it's because he's using attack move, which unfortunately every now and again has the effect of saying, oh, AP shells, right, so I gotta keep moving forward so I can hit vehicles.
I'm also thinking he's doing that so he can use his own, like, artillery spotting radius to get, like, very accurate shots. Risky maneuver, but it could pay off, because the thing with Pose is that you don't have a lot of artillery observer units. You got the artillery dudes in the artillery tower, it's really and your commander, but you're not going to move up your commander that close. That'd be a bit silly.
It certainly would. Now, unfortunately, that mortar that's down south has just done a really great work in suppressing all of that material, but there's no one there to follow it up, and there's not going to be for another 25 or 30 seconds pretty easily.
Yep, and he's bringing a lot of fire support now down south. He's got 2 grills and a bunch of infantry. Maxwell is really determined in breaking out Southern Forest, and I think he now has enough stuff to do it.
Yes, but to what end? You have 4 flags there, that's for sure, but that actually still keeps him down.
Yeah, he needs to get a foothold into the hill, essentially. And he's pushing just a wee bit to get a flag, but Finzent, he's got the numbers, man. He is keeping Maxwell pinned up and tied.
Yep, and these brave infantry squads that keep going to this town just get nuked the second they get close.
Yep, and you just don't have the numbers to be losing this many ski Jaegers in general. You just do not have much.
Well, and our old friend the rocket plane is back. Watch him stress out this entire armor blob. Hmm. I confess I expected more from him.
Same here. Same here.
Well, this MU-109 coming over the central part of the field. Not sure that's such a great idea. Yep, already oil leak.
Yep. May wanna, run away now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's a yak run.
Whoa! Mortar just shelled. Was that a couple of munitions trucks in the center from the poles?
What happened?
There were two munitions trucks in that north central town. If actually you scope in on that main thoroughfare right by the bailed out ZS M17, you will notice that there are two trucks that are rather blocky.
Oh yeah.
I think two munitions trucks just got taken out by one mortar shell. Now, if that's right, my first question is why were there two mortar trucks there?
There might have been transport trucks, maybe? Like infantry transports?
Maybe. It's
I don't
entirely
know.
possible. But I'm going to keep an eye out for haze after we're done with this.
Yeah. Oh god, just... Maxwell is trying to move up his tanks in the middle, but yeah, it's this 45mm anti-tank gun who says otherwise.
Yep. But we are going to get that rather brave Dornier come back the other direction. Bombs away. He gets them off. Unfortunately, I think he might drop them long.
Oh, the Su-76
No.
in the middle is not the artillery run, it's the direct fire run. That's right, he has it up close.
Oh.
Yeah, it's one of
Alright.
APCR cells, because the artillery run in the artillery tab has the smoke ammo.
Thank you. I seem so curious to me, but alright. Good to know. Down south, T-3485 that had been spearheading this attack is now dead, and judging by just the amount of burning wreckage on that road, I don't know that many other ski Jaegers are coming.
I don't think so either. There's two anti-tank guns in that forest, as well as a bunch of Strudkeys, and now some Sturmer, I think it was after Machiki Scrotch.
I thought it was Shromafikis, but fair enough. And if that wasn't enough, we actually have 4 T-70s coming in, as well as a T-34-76. I know it doesn't sound like much, but that's going to be just enough at least to plug the gap for another few minutes.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's Shromoviki squad. Not Shromoviki, wow. You're right. It's the
Absolutely.
tank that they sent Nikki.
There we go, man's gonna catch him out in the open with the pants down, and that's gonna ripe out one, but there's still a bunch of Russians in the outpost, I should say.
Yeah, I was going to say that's probably
Yeah.
not one of those confusion moments you want to make with those guys.
No, not one bit. Up north, we're actually seeing a wee bit of action now, and Finzent is starting to aggress. And if he manages to take his northern flank, just the pressure alone is definitely going to save him some time.
Yes, sir. Biggest thing there is just that single MG42, but that will blow through rounds like it's its job. So, outside of that, I guess maybe we'll see a couple other light vehicles coming in. Nope, more ski Jaegers. More ski Jaegers. Yeah. As you might suspect at this point, the bulk of material here is just going to be kind of more of the same. And if you look down to the south, for some reason we actually have the Opel Blitz moving a mortar so close. I'm actually don't know if mortars have minimum fire distance.
I think it's only 100, 200 meters or something, so it's pretty close how minimum they can fire.
Not sure if I'd make that particular call, but hey,
Yeah.
you know.
I think he's getting desperate now. He really wants to capture the southern side, and he is only at 10-14, so he's only 2 flags away from shoring it up. But those T-70s are just going to be terrifying in that forest. There's not much anti-tank here.
No, sir, not unless you play the Panzerfaust game. You have to get awfully close for that at the moment.
Yeah. Just how line of sight works with a light forest. A little bit hard to get closer to the Panzerfaust.
What a shame he did not drop that mortar barrage just another 50 meters beyond. Oh well.
Well, the hill is still very well secured here by Finzent. It's got all those Strokey Scrotch, and they're just really terrifying, the numbers that you can get.
Certainly is. How would you have played this matchup?
Uh, that's a good point. I think I wouldn't take Ski Jaeger. It's just like
Yeah.
infantry numbers. Like,
Yeah.
especially on this map, it really just comes down to who has like the better infantry and like light tank spam. And Poles are very good in this particular close range play style. It's just how you play Polish first infantry down to a T. Spam infantry, spam tanks, only fight close range.
Holy mother of God, I'm sorry. Just look at
Go
the
ahead.
middle town, just watch the tracers going in every direction.
Oh god, it's getting brutal, yeah. Getting brutal.
I'm sorry. I completely
Yeah,
interrupted
if this
you.
was like a more open map, I think Ski would actually have a better time because they guys use their tanks to the advantage. But apart from that, you just have to bring in more infantry spam division. It's 78th Sturm division. That's the number, 78th. Or 76 or 73.
That's still a C, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Dornier 217 going after that artillery piece. Interesting decision there, but I guess I can understand it.
Oh. So there's too much chaff to kill. But yeah, Finzent, great job piloting the pose.
Certainly true. I guess I'm watching these T-34-85s go into this town. Excuse me, T-34-42. Kind of fascinated to watch these PTRDs start pinging off rounds at them.
Yeah. That's a lovely thing with these, like, Stroker DP squads. It's just that extra anti-tank. Yes, it's not great anti-tank, but you can just stun stuff up to hell and back. And when most of your squads have an anti-tank rifle, it really deters any vehicle play in towns. It just shuts it down.
It certainly does. It certainly does. And as we kick off the last couple of seconds here, I think it's fair to say that Max was victim of his own kind of divisional matchup.
Yeah, skiing is hard to play. It's that infant, especially on this map. It didn't really favor him well at all.
No, it did not. But there you have it. In 24 minutes, 7 seconds,
Pretty
unfortunately, Max
close.
did go down. But
Kills.
yeah, I'm surprised by that, actually.
Same. I'm really surprised about that too. And looking at kills here, nothing too crazy, but like, you know, 50 cal half track killing a bunch of stuff is pretty cool.
By the way, that mortar, took out 2 munitions trucks.
Oh wow! Holy crap! That's
Paid himself rather well, I would say.
wow. That's that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. And there we got like T-3045 did okay, T-3442R, but nothing too crazy.
No, but like yeah, I'm not gonna belabor the point any further. Unfortunately, Max was just a bad pick going into that particular matchup, certainly on Orsha East.
Yeah.
But guys, I mean, I guess that's how it is. If you're going to go skiing, do it in some place that doesn't give you, well, wide open spaces.
You want to ski in wide open spaces with Ski Jaeger, because then you have free reign and you can put the T-34 on top of your ski hill to protect you as you go skiing down.
Unless there are Yetis. Yetis, I hear, are quite vicious during the ski season.
Yeah, and they got pretty high armor value. The AP is just not going to go through them.
No, sorry, to the APCR shells. But, folks, before we go off on an avalanche of other ideas, I think we've said all we need to say about this particular matchup.
Yes, I think so too.
Sounds good. All right, folks, until next time, I'm Connell Work.
Rangru, take it easy.